All right. I'm gonna try really hard to tell this story without crying. So on December 12th or the 13th, one of those 2 days, I realized that my dog Yoda, pitbull puppy, about 11 months old, he wasn't feeling very well. So, you know, we took him to the vet, and without even really looking at him, the vet pretty much self-diagnosed him, and she said that he had parvo, which, if a lot of people don't know, obviously parvo is really deadly in dogs, and a lot of dogs get it. It's very common. But what I told the vet was that he wasn't really experiencing parvo symptoms. Like, he had some similarities to parvo symptoms, but it wasn't all parvo, because I've had a dog that had parvo before, and they wouldn't even drink water on their own, or even eat on their own. He was able to drink water and keep it down without even throwing it up. He just wasn't able to really eat food because I think his stomach was hurting him, so he wasn't able to digest food. I had to physically mash up food for him and put it into his mouth, you know, and syringe it into his mouth. So I'm nurturing him, right? And I take him to the vet. It's called First Vet Veterinary Clinic. It is on Alma School and Warner in Chandler, Arizona. I take him there, and they pretty much tell me that there's not really much that they can do for him since he's already been exposed to parvo. There's nothing else that they can do to help him. They didn't offer to parvo test him there, nothing. They were like, no, we know he has parvo. The best you can do is take him home and care for him at home, you know, and do what you can for him. Love him, you know, everything. So me, I'm thinking like there's no way he can have parvo because there's just a lot of symptoms were off, you know. And I was speaking with my friend, and my friend, she actually, she sold me the puppy. I bought 2 of my dogs from her actually, and the baby, she sold him to me, and he was healthy as can be, you know what I mean. And I was on the phone with her, and I was telling her what was going on. First night I was at the vet, and she told me pretty much her dogs were experiencing the same symptoms that my dog was experiencing, hers were. But she said, girl, the way that you see your dog right now, my dogs were worse than that. She's like, so he's doing a lot better than what my dogs were even doing, you know. They went through that exact same thing, but they got better, you know. She was like, they got better after a few days. We gave them medicine, Pedialyte. She's like, and then they were fine, you know. She's like, they were just a little dehydrated, you know, a bunch of stuff, and obviously there's stuff going around, you know, so you don't know. So I had a lot of faith, you know, because I'm like, if her 2 dogs that are his brother or her sisters, his sisters, if they made it through and they were both experiencing the exact same thing, he's gonna make it through because he's strong. He was a strong puppy. He was very strong. He mended our family, you know what I mean. He completed us. I've never really had this conversation with anybody, but I've had a hard time having another baby. So with that being said, you know, when I got another dog, he completed our family. Like, it was a family of 4. We have me and my girl dog, and then my 2 boys and my husband. So it was a family of 5 of us, you know what I mean? And it was perfect. He was perfect. He was the perfectest little dog I've ever had in my life. He was so loyal, you know, and he was such a good dog, He never did anything wrong in my eyes. And we take him, and they self-diagnose him that he has parvo. Skip a few days, we go yesterday, all day yesterday, he was fine, you know. During the day, he was okay. He was getting up by himself, walking to his water bowl. I thought I was seeing process. He was fine, or progress. He was fine, you know what I mean. And I even sent the video to my friend. I was like, he's making progress. He's drinking water by himself. He's okay. And she was like, that's so good, girl. You know, just continue to do what you're doing for him. You're doing such a good job. You're taking care of him. So I was excited. I was happy, you know, that I thought he was getting better in my eyes, you know. And he had lost a lot of weight because he wasn't able to eat any food, digest food by himself. I was syringing food into his mouth, but he was so skinny. He was almost bones, and he was just so chunky before. And yesterday we get home, I left. I regret leaving, but I left because I forgot my debit card at Wingstop in Mesa. So I had to go pick up my debit card, and when I came back, I had to go pick up my husband. And while I'm on my way to pick up my husband, my brother-in-law texted me, and he told me Yoda hasn't moved from the spot that he's been in since you left. He's like, he hasn't really moved. I was like, is he breathing? He said, yeah, he's still breathing, but he just hasn't moved from there. And I was like, okay. I was like, that's fine. When he sees us, he'll get up, or he'll at least pick his little head up, because he does that, you know. Every time he sees us, he would get so excited. And I got home, and he was just laying there. He wasn't moving. He was barely breathing. And my husband, we picked him up, scooped him up really fast, and we got him in the car. And my husband said he was barely breathing. You could barely hear a breath off of him. So he started giving him mouth-to-mouth CPR, and my husband was able to give him one more hour of life. One more hour of life. And we get to the vet, and they have us in a little room, and she tells me, we can't go on with proceeding to help Yoda until you make a payment to us of $900. She said, in order for us to try and get him out of septic shock, because that's what he's in right now, you have to pay $900 for us to go to start the process. And in my head, I'm like, I would do anything for my dogs. Anything. They're like my kids. I would do anything for them. Anything. So I would sell the clothes off my back, you know, to get the money for him. I did. So I scraped up every dollar I had, you know, every single dollar I had, change, everything. And I'm like, look, here's the money. I'm asking people, like, help me out, let me borrow money. Like, I will figure out a way to pay you back, but I need my dog to be okay, you know. And he's in a little room, and we come up with the money, and we pay him. We pay the nurse the money for whatever, for what they need to fix him. And I'm watching him from a little room. Mind you, I'm in a different room, but I come out, and there's another room in front of me, and it has a little window about this big and about this thick, like that. And I can see them working on him. Not really. I just see them standing all around him, but I didn't really see them doing much. And I'm calling for him, I'm crying for him. I'm like, Yoda, please wake up. Yoda, I know you can hear me. Yoda, please, let's go home. Like, you can go and play with Meech, you know, my baby. I was like, he's waiting for you at the house. Come on, let's go, Yoda. And he heard me, and he kicked his little feet. He was on the table, and he kicked his little feet. I seen him. And I yelled to my husband. I was like, look, he heard me. I was like, he moved his foot. We might have a chance, you know. He might make it through this. And 10 minutes pass by, and we're in the room, and the nurse comes in, and she was just so bland and just so plain. And she just goes, we're here to inform you that Yoda passed away. And I went blank for a second, because I was like, there's no way. I just seen him move. There's no way. Like, he was just moving, you know. And she said we weren't able to lift him from septic shock because it was too late. They started the treatment too late, because I wouldn't give them $900 right when I got there. I didn't have it with me. I had to go get my debit card, get stuff situated, you know, take money out, scramble. I made like 4 different types of payments to these people, like in 4 different increments, you know. I was like, okay, I paid this card, and then I have cash. So I'm paying it, and for she tells me, we did as much as we could for $900. That's what she told me. We did as much work as we could possibly do, and we kept him alive long enough with $900 for $900 worth of treatment is what we gave him. They were asking me for $4,000 to get him admitted into the hospital. And if I would have paid him the $4,000 and he would have passed away, I would not have gotten my money back. I didn't even get my $900 back after I told them, I just gave you that money. And he was supposed to be okay. Like, you told me he'll have a higher chance, if we can get him out of septic shock, he'll have a higher chance of living. And nothing. They didn't do anything for him. I'm standing there watching them, and they're just standing around him, and nobody was doing anything. And she came in and told me that he passed away, and it was so unreal. Like, we had to have them put him in the room with us, and my husband took it worse out of both of us. That was his best friend, and and his companion. So it was really, really hard for him, to see him like that. And all last night we were unable to sleep, and we just kept waking up in the middle of the night because we thought that we'd be able to feel him, or we thought that maybe it was a dream somehow. Maybe we were just getting punished, and we'd wake up and we'd be okay, And I believed that we were going to be okay. I believed he was going to be okay. And the fact that they were just like, oh, well, there's not much we can do for you, is just so sickening to me, because you misdiagnosed my dog. You tell me that he has parvo. There's nothing I can do for him. But then when I go in and you test him and he comes out negative for parvo, there could have been something that could have been done if you would have done your work days ago. Days ago, if they would have told me, if we can work on him now, we'll have a chance of saving his life, I would have been like, go for it. But the fact that they told me he had parvo and there was no way that he was going to come out of this, no way that he was going to be able to make it through, because he was already so far into it that there was nothing they can do. And to me, it was just unacceptable. And I just feel like everybody needs to know. Everybody needs to hear my story, whether I know it's a little sad, but I just don't want this happening to somebody else. I don't want them paying money to somebody to help their animal or any kind of way, and then just 20 minutes later their animal passes, and then they're like, well, we can't really do much for you. It's kind of like a gut punch in a way, and a face punch, and I really needed to just vent and just let everything out and let everybody know what's been going on, because this is just unacceptable, and I just don't think that it's right for anybody to go through what I just did. But thank you for hearing my story, and I hope that this gets heard somewhere and somebody is able to, help me out, because I'm trying to pull a lawsuit against them. I'm about to make a wrongful death suit. I will not be silenced. We will get Yoda for justice for Yoda, and we will get it. Whether I have to do whatever I can do, I will do it.